guys, welcome to the YouGrind podcast, and I have here
Christina.
Michael.
Krishana.
How are you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you?
A little nervous, but good.
Our son's nervous for sure.
Yeah.
It's his first podcast.
Who are you guys?
We are a very passion-driven family. We're very, very passion-driven, and we're a very strong team unit. You know, we have 8 boys, and it's just me and my wife, and we take on a lot as parents, and we're just a very, very strong mission-driven family that loves people, and we love to grow together. We love to inspire other people to grow and push themselves at their best. So we're that type of family that just loves to share our knowledge and wisdom of a lot of things that we've learned through life experiences, everything we've gone through, from poverty, racism, discrimination, abuse, trauma, like the whole shebang. And especially with other people that can relate and been through what we've been through. And some people are afraid to speak up about their strengths, what helps them, how they cope and whatnot. And we just want to be a reminder that you can speak about everything it is that you can, that you've been through, that you can utilize into strength and prosper and push yourself at your best.
Do you do that through a church, through your household, through the community? How do you do that?
It's a bit of a mixture of God first in our house. We're a very God-centered family. That is our source of strength. That is our source of everyday opportunities to push yourself at your best.
Yeah.
And despite of any season or circumstance that we go through, we always come to God first in everything that we deal with in life. And we work together as a husband and a wife, as a team unit. That's another major piece, because without that, nothing works.
Right.
And we're just like a normal family, like any other family too. I think that our family's a little bit more like, unique because of the amount of children we have. So I go to college. My son's in school. Michael's trying to always
You go in person or online?
So I am currently doing my fine arts major. So I was going to Los Medanos College. I've been to College of Marin, SF, college too. So just bouncing around depending on where we live. So I'm almost finished with my associate's degree. So that's super exciting. It's just been challenging, always being a mom too, having to be a stay-at-home mom and still try to go to school. So mostly in person. I love being on campus because I have a disability. It's just easier for me to get access all the services.
Yeah.
But I am leaning more towards online because I just don't want to be away from my babies. It's always very difficult for me mentally. When I have to leave the children and stuff like that. I have separation anxiety and anxiety as well as a person, so it can be challenging with school and social norms and just the whole thing.
As long as you figure out a way to distract them, maybe with the TV or drawing or something, you get your on the laptop and
and they're pretty loud too, so if I was to do online, it'd probably be at a coffee shop or somewhere a little bit more intimate or in my closet, because I've learned doing my artwork in bed or in my room is just a no-no. I need to be sitting down. My professor's always saying you need more hours. I think the more hours I put into it, the more I can perfect my craft, so that's just been the challenging thing. And
I somehow manage to find distractions when I'm home and I'm trying to do something, application or whatever, or a big essay, and I would just find all sorts of distractions. Okay, I cannot work at home.
Right. You learn your thing.
Yeah, I'm I cannot do it, and people love it.
Yeah, my son's doing in-home schooling.
Yeah.
I'm doing K-12 right now. It's an online school, and I've been just working on there, getting my grades up and all that, working to be a neurosurgeon.
Oh, nice.
And
what do they do exactly?
They work on the brain and do surgery on it and stuff.
Oh shoot, that's serious stuff. No pressure. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Not what I would do, but respect.
And I play guitar and all that to get my mind off of just school and to wind down a little bit. And Yeah, that's pretty.
But you're already like going like to
Yeah.
college stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I'm doing this summer. I'm working to doing community college to get my credits up so I can transfer
Okay.
straight out to go to like a 4-year.
He's very modest, this one, 4.0 student.
Oh my
on-track
goodness.
student,
Okay.
top of his class. Like, he's not going to say that, right? Because he's very modest about his success. But
What is the secret? Like, what keeps you motivated? What?
My brothers, my family, just try. I just want to work hard enough so I can, so we all could just like have a good life together, you know.
Right. Right.
And yeah, that's my brothers usually just motivate me to like do better and all that. Cause as the oldest, I kind of gotta set an example
Right.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah.
Which one are you closest to? Of your
Probably Isaac,
brothers? Is he
the second oldest.
the second one?
Yeah.
What kind of work is it? Like, you're dealing with the brain. How did you figure out that that's what you wanted to do?
My auntie, she died from an AVM. She had like a aneurysm, so
Uh-huh.
I wanted to help others who like dealt with that too, that type of loss, and like maybe me doing that can like make an impact on others. You know?
Like, I've heard of aneurysms, right?
Yeah,
yeah, it's
aneurysm.
a arteriovascular malformation, so it's a little bit more complex than an aneurysm. My sister is my baby sister. She died at 8 years old, so she was like one of the first youngest people to like die from the condition. But there's like also like a lot more conspiracies with her death as well, because she was like at a camp and my dad was like a single dad, so he was like, I really feel like he was preyed upon with this like this infrastructural like camp based program that it was just very like I want to say not I don't know the word for it, but it just wasn't very structurized, and like I think a lot of children that went up there weren't supervised and they weren't taken care of properly, so that's what like resulted in her death. And yeah, you just have to be careful like who you let watch your children, like, you know, and just like be careful like trusting other people with your kids, because you know something bad can happen to them, and like you don't know how they died, you know. The surgeons can say, hey, there was 30 minutes lack of oxygen to her brain, she's brain dead, you know, and be cold about it. And that was our experience. It was a very traumatic experience for me and my family. But yeah, she was honored and stuff, and like it was a beautiful experience too, because there was like other families that like donated their organs with their children, and like it was just like a whole big thing for me, because it was just more like, these are human beings, like people shouldn't just give away their children's organs, you know. You can help other families with that, but it was just like a whole bigger thing for me. It was like, you know, sometimes people don't have a lot of compassion for the human body,
Right.
you know what I mean? So it was like she was just kind of ripped apart for like other families, and that me and my sister had a hard time dealing with that piece of it, because she's our sister, you know what I mean? So like the whole,
but in a way,
yeah, she's
lives
like
on,
yeah,
because she's
true.
helping these people
Yeah.
get a second shot. But at the same time, I get that.
Yeah,
that,
it was definitely hard.
Yeah.
Like a hard transition for us to like understand, and
right.
I think that's where like our great spirits come from. Like we always want to we always put other people before us, you know. And like I think some people give more love than they receive, you know, kind of situation. So
Right.
yeah.
Do you do more math? Is it more math? Is it more just like learning areas
It's
of
more,
the brain?
yeah, more areas of the brain, because like you gotta, it's not memorized, but you gotta figure out where the problem is and stuff, and you gotta, it's more like a ticking time clock too, because you gotta move fast, because if you don't move fast, then you have like a risk of losing the patient and all that. And usually what I do though, I just memorize. It's not really that much math in it, and yeah, that's pretty much it that I've been doing so far with the studies and all that.
It's more like science, right? So in like
Kind of.
anatomy
It's like
and stuff.
anatomy.
Yeah. It's really complex.
Yeah, it is, because you know you have the parts, and then you have the little parts of the part, and then it's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. Some people like it, could do it. Some not so much.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes us unique, as you said. But your sister, right? You said, Was she like young when that
Very
happened?
young. Yeah, she was like one of the youngest people because typically like when like let me just explain AVM for a second. Like it's when an artery and a vein entwine in the brain, and it's like a spaghetti noodle in a sense where the artery is meant to pump blood and push it through, like it holds more volume, and a vein is supposed to just, I feel like it flows blood and it's not as complex and like it can't hold as much mass of it. So like when they're combined like this, one vein is connected to the artery and then it kind of enmeshes.
Yeah.
And then it caused it to burst because they're not supposed to be entwined that way. They're supposed to be able to flow freely. So she was like swimming in like a man-made lake. I think it was like 9 feet, learned to swim.
Yeah.
That's really cool, right? Because what 8-year-old, can just swim freely, right? So they were teaching her how to swim and stuff. So she came up from the water and like, that's when she had the episode where she had to bleed out. And I just remember my sister describing her saying like, it hurts. And then she's in the Sierras, right? So they're trying to find like a local hospital, but then there's no hospital because it's in the mountains.
And this just randomly happened?
Right.
Okay.
And my sister, like, it was just like a weird situation because like they were like fed like jelly sandwiches before, and then that's when she started getting sick. So like me and some of my other family members sometimes speculate like, was she given poison? Was she given something? Was there like more of like a thorough investigation on her death? There wasn't any waiver signed back then, right, on like you're fully responsible for your child if something happens. So there was no waiver signed. This is like 1990 something, 2000, in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was swept under the rug. No one was really accountable for that baby girl, and it was just like a really hard thing for our family. And like like I said, like life can just be crazy sometimes when it comes to like society and how things are like given to you and what you have to deal with. But sometimes there's more to stories, and sometimes it can be deeper. It's just sometimes you just have to like, God will reveal everything to you, in due time. Yeah, and that's what I have been having like peace with, and just remembering her, honoring her. And it's hard when you come from poverty, right? When you don't have a lot of money, you could be taken advantage of, your life can be in danger. A lot of black African American people, organs get harvested sometimes, and it's not talked about enough, so I just always want to talk about it a little bit, or just bring some awareness to it, because like it's just important that it starts to become a conversation, because just because somebody is in poverty or they don't have a lot of money doesn't mean their life doesn't have value.
Right.
Doesn't mean that their life doesn't hold like any meaning to it, or God, what do they say? God equips the uncalled, like he equips the called. You don't have to have what society thinks you need to be used by God for people. Yeah,
Definitely. Would you say that your aunt plays a factor on why you want?
She plays a major role, because I just wish I knew her, so I don't want no one else to like go through what my mom went through, or like the rest of our family members.
Right.
So yeah, if I could make an impact doing that job, then I'm willing to do it, because I just want to try to do what I can to make the world like better, So, yeah.
I respect that. It's respectable.
Pro bono too sometimes, because people's lives deserve to be saved whether they have the money or not. So we talk about that a lot, right? So
yeah. I think what I want to do later on in life is make like a practice where it's like doesn't cost that much money,
right?
Which is gonna be kind of hard, but just somewhere where people can go to like get help. They don't really have to like necessarily involve the brain.
Yeah.
Just like resources maybe to like help others get better, and like that's what I want.
I think half the battle is time.
Yeah.
Like getting to the doctor on time, or when that issue happens, getting the the help in that moment. Because even if you can't get the help in that moment.
Yeah, or like the awareness of it, I feel like liver and our organs aren't talked about enough on like what we need to do to maintain them.
Right.
Because like you can have a liver condition and not know, and I always recommend everyone get their liver checked, because you just never know.
Yeah.
What underlying conditions you have,
That's true.
And if you're in poverty, they're not going to care. No one's going to care. You'll lose your life a lot more quickly.
How have you guys dealt with like stuff like that? You mentioned poverty.
Yeah.
Would you say you're around it, you went through it, you live it?
Yeah, I feel like there's a stigma for me, like right now, like I don't know if you guys are familiar with Threads on Instagram.
The new
So people can like talk about like like there's a person that we follow named Jason, and he'll talk about the poors and poverty and like how it's a choice and you can't make excuses and you have to do all these things to get out of it, and if you're not doing that, then you're just not worthy to not just not be like worthy of a person. But for me it's the opposite, because you could have been born into poverty, you could have a calling on your life that God has on you, and it's going to take time. It's not on man's time. And I feel like it's been challenging, but it's been a blessing because Jesus was poor. So I feel like the poorer you are, the closer you are to God. I don't know why, but that's just been my experience. I feel like if I had a lot of distractions, a lot of money, and I was like living for the world, I wouldn't know him. It's so easy not to know him. Like I grew up not knowing him. My dad was like an atheist and doesn't believe in God because of what happened to my sister. He lost his faith. And he's one of the people that advocate like, oh, why does God allow this? Why did he allow that? She was innocent. I've watched too many good people die like poorly and horribly. Why would God allow that? He doesn't have power, so he doesn't have faith. And then it's like you lose that person. Like I've watched him change over time with all the pain. In my family, poverty it leads to death to me, because it's like it's been challenging. Like I've lost my brother, my mother. I've seen people die in front of me in the hood. Growing up in the hood, it's just been hard. But people in the hood still got dreams.
Yeah.
People in the hood still talented. People in the hood still smart. People in the hood still bright. They're still people. So it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the poverty. So for me, I almost honor it, because if it wasn't for like that, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I've transformed so much as a person due to it. It's very challenging. It's very hard. But it gives you a reason to fight every day. Like, the movie Troy, he talks about like we'll never be here again, and how like the gods envy us and things like that because we're mortal and our time here is short. And I really believe in that philosophy. It's like Greek mythology I'm really into, because we're all mixed with a lot of different things. Like my son's Filipino and Thai, German, black and white. My husband's mixed with a bunch of stuff. I'm German and black, so I'm very rooted in my culture and know where I come from, and I know who I am. And I like how I learn, and I like the pace of it. And I just think that it's been a journey, and I refuse to allow anyone to box us in, despite of like how much money we make or the lifestyle we have. I refuse to allow people to tell us that we're not worthy, or to even judge. It's interesting, the Bible talks about judge not, but that currently at this time is the most played like scripture. Like no one is not talking about that enough. And I've been waiting for someone to actively like judge me, like as of late, so I could just say like judge not, especially if they say they're a Christian,
Right.
So I think that it helps me become a better person and trust God more with my life. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, as far as poverty base goes, we've gotten that a lot. We've experienced a lot, especially in counties like Marin County. When you touch down in Marin County, you'll majority of the time see one race in that county. You're surrounded by nothing but rich people all day, every day. It can happen at the school. For instance, when we had to pick up our children half the time at school, you saw groups of that one race just having their own conversations. They weren't welcoming towards us because of the color of our skin, our status, and whatnot. And it was real pressuring at the time. to be amongst that crowd because you have all these other people having personal conversations about the weekends and what their kids are doing together and whatnot. And our children were treated like outcasts. And a lot of people turned a blind eye to it, acting as if they didn't see it, acting as if it wasn't going on, telling us, oh, it's not like this, it's not like that and whatnot. But it's like, I can see right through the lines.
This is current?
Yeah,
current?
this is sometime, yeah, currently. Yeah, this is some time back as well, a few years back when we were residing in Marin County. The people that we dealt with really tried to talk to us like little caged animals, really, and treated us like caged animals, treated her like complete dirt because she was so talented and so smart and whatnot. She got it from women in that county who were completely jealous of her, had so many opinions to say about herself, her self-esteem, our marriage, our children, you know, going up around saying, you know, she doesn't take care of her kids, she's at the house, she's lazy, or he's not doing this, he's not doing that, now he's home, he doesn't have a job, he's broke, he's this, he's that. It's like a whole spinning record player of complete bird chirping, like tweeting every minute. And it's like, regardless of what go on in our house that you are not involved in, mind you, that you don't live in, why are you so bothered and why are you so driven mentally to focus on what's going on over here? It's obvious something is bothering you, and it's obvious that we're doing something right, because only a person that isn't completely bothered at all, who is truly unbothered, is not going to make time for somebody else's house they're not in.
Right.
They don't care what's going on in your house. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what goes on in your house. I don't care, you know, what you got going on with your girl or your dude or whoever. It's not our business. And that's the one thing we like to do, is stay to ourselves. There's a lot more protection, more peace, more divinity. It's real divine when you stay to yourself. And we just focus on our family. We focus on each other. We focus on our personal self-growth and whatnot. And we focus on our children. And we focus on God mainly, and that's it. And even Jesus had said, when he had resisted Satan in the desert, when he was fasting for quite an amount of days and whatnot, and he kept getting tempted over and over about, if you give this up and you kneel to me, I'll give you the riches of the world and everything as he falsely claimed. He had resisted him and said, I'd rather be the poorest. And it's like that for us. Regardless of what status, how rich you are and whatnot, if we're at odds against the world because of what we're doing with what God says in his word, so be it. Because we will never, ever surrender to something else before him. Especially when he's the one that put us together, gave us the family, gave us the food in our fridge, gave us the oxygen and life in our lungs to even be talking as of this moment right now. He's the only reason why we're even talking. He's the only reason why we have our family. He's the only reason why we busted every single case like CPS and whatnot that have tried to target our children, try to target our kids in school, try to target our parenting, saying all these false accusations that we're neglectful and whatnot. If that's the case, why are they so happy? Why are they always around us? Why are they always running to us when we pick them up from school and whatnot? Because people will do that. And they'll do it with God too. With the mentioning of his name, the scriptures and whatnot. People use his word and scriptures. Some people who claim to be a believer and whatnot, what they'll do is they'll take certain scriptures and whatnot, not even following or living these scriptures. They'll take it and wear it like a costume. And that's how they reel and worm people in. And then once they have you and sink their hooks in you where they want you, then the mask comes off. Because they know you have a passion for God. It's like wolves in sheep's clothing. And my wife has this gift, this intuition as a woman that I've had to learn about because she's my wife. And she's been able to see things before they happen. And it's for the best too. It's a God-given gift. Only God can give a woman that. And I've had to watch her go through a lot throughout the years. And not just from people in general, but bloodline members on my end. My mother, my dad especially, and my siblings and cousins, my aunt, everybody. And neither one of my parents on my end have ever supported these children or this marriage. And my father was my biggest inspiration at a time when I was growing up, looking at him, you know, because he claimed to be a man of God and whatnot. But what I forgot and wasn't realizing is that dude is a complete human just like everybody else. And I've had to watch him go through more than one marriage. My mom didn't work out, spent most of the time blaming her for what happened, telling me there was so much more that I didn't know, and he was leaving his certain pieces of parts out and whatnot. You're going around creating broken homes that you're not even in. These 3 women that you've had children with, you are not even with to this day. You're by yourself. And I've had to really watch him after how he treated my wife, didn't acknowledge her, but was in our place at a point some years back eating a plate of food that she made. Dissed my oldest, dissed his grandchildren, and his excuse was, those aren't my kids. Those are your kids. If you want them to know their grandfather, you bring them to me. That's the very last thing he said. And we haven't spoken for some time because his pride and to where he thinks he's just too good to meet them or whatever his case is and whatnot, it's no excuse.
Right.
There's no excuse for it. I don't care if you're an elder. I don't care if you're my father. I don't care if you're my mother and whatnot. There's absolutely no excuse for anybody in the world to not be a grandparent. The only reason why somebody isn't being a grandparent and whatnot is because they're choosing not to be. I don't care what you got going on with your son. I don't care what you got going on with your daughter. There's no reason for you to not be a grandparent. It's not about you. It's not about them. It's about the kids.
Yeah, to have our kids like grow up knowing that like they're hated and not loved and not valued, and they have to watch like the other grandkids get treated like they're value. Like teaching my children the lesson of value, but on a spectrum that is like, no, you're learning about value right now because you're not valuable. You know, and then leaving me to pick up all the pieces and break the curse. You know, it's definitely a generational curse. And like me and Michael, us both, we've had to fight to the tooth and nail to not become them. We've emulated like characteristics of them, like financial abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, like everything that God says not to do, we've done because we saw it. And now we're in a space where it's like without God we can't do it. Without God we won't be able to break the generational curses that were put upon us. And I'm also at a point where it's like I want to forgive them because they only did what they knew how to do. But at the same time, we're all adults, and at some point you should, like, we probably will never get an apology, but to not be acknowledged and people avoiding accountability because they want to protect themselves from the things that they're creating and putting it on other people is completely erroneous to me. I mean, to the highest extreme. Because how are we to blame for everyone?
Right.
Everybody's, you know, accountability. How do we take accountability for every single person? And then are called victims, or there's like victim blaming, and there's just these shifts of blame, and it's just really sad because no one cares about the kids at the end of the day. They're the ones that suffer. And then you have to ask yourself, is that the goal? Because if you know what the outcome is of something and you do it anyway, it's just because like you don't care. You know what I mean? And it's really sad, you know, where society has fallen with like family members. You can't, extended family is not even extended, it's non-existent. And everybody wants to cut everybody off, right? And everybody is just feeling away, you know, and no one can have an opportunity to just speak it out adult wise. Like his sister want to fight me, everyone want to fight me, they don't like me, don't know me, only met me twice, and you have so much to say. Like it's hard, you know. The level of anxiety and mental health that we've had to endure and fight is because of those things. Excuse me. I don't think they realize how much of an impact they have on our mental health, you know?
Yeah, we definitely had to deal with a lot, especially on, our ends of our bloodline family members. We had all this pressure, these opinions put on us, certain things that they claim that we're supposed to know, or you're supposed to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that, she needs to do this, she needs to do that. Having all these high expectations for us to know all these certain things, and we're in our 20s. We're not supposed to have it all figured out. We're not 40, we're not 50, but a lot of people on those ends really like to try and cram it on us like we're supposed to know these things. And this is just, when we first got together, after some time when we just got together, mind you, we're both in our 20s. And so we have all these people around us, especially from the church too. Oh, are you guys, shacked up? Are you guys even getting married? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Just like so much roundabout opinions full of jealousy and bitterness, because half of these people don't even have a significant other to go home to. Half of these people have never been married a day in their life, but they find so much to be saying about our relationship because we're so driven to each other. Our connection is, there's no other than unbreakable and permanent. You wouldn't be able to touch the connection that she and I have. And that's what drove people crazy, because whatever they lacked in themselves, they tried to take out on her, they tried to take out on me, they tried to take out on our connection, they tried to take it out on our children, because we're just very to ourselves. We're very, closed off and just very protective of ourselves, because we know how the world operates. We've seen it. We've dealt with a lot of things throughout our years of being together, in our personal lives before we got together and whatnot. Things that got modeled to us that weren't right because they didn't know, they didn't have their parent to teach them better and whatnot, and all they did was trickle it down on us and whatnot. And then when we got together, it brought out the parts within ourselves that we didn't think were there to each other to help us unlearn it, unpack it, figure out what the core roots were and whatnot. This didn't happen for any other person prior before meeting her at all. It was just simple dating, wasting time, playing around and whatnot. But then meeting her, it became a transition of courting. That's it. Courting, permanent, eternity, forever. Just something more deeper and more intimate and more serious when I met her. Because when you reach that point, something in you has got to snap to where it's like, I deserve more. And I want to give somebody else more. And I want to court. I don't want to get to know you for months and then we don't work out. I want to get to know you on a deep level because I plan to court you.
And then I wanted to talk about like our son recently, because me and Michael, like going through all the things that we've gone through, it's been pretty ugly, right? Because we have to unlearn a lot of things without learning them. And I know that doesn't really make sense, but like we were taught like a lot of bad things and like we were forced to unlearn them without like a guide. So we had to like find ourselves. It's been ugly, he's treated me the worst that he has to anyone, right? Because sometimes the closest people to you could treat the worst and not even realize like how bad you're treating them. And you could treat strangers better. And I think that was something that I had a really hard time understanding. And then once I learned like not to take things personal and try to understand why someone's doing something, it really helped me be a better person and understand what I'm doing wrong. And I think that, that's a conversation that should be had more. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. You know what I mean? It's okay to learn the mistakes, unlearn them, on your own pace. I feel like if you truly love someone, you'll be willing to, like, work with them. People are toxic and stuff, but at the same time, don't give up on them. Don't make them give up on themselves. Don't make them suicidal where they're, like, trying to kill themselves in closets because they're so tired of hearing how bad they are, but they don't ever get to hear how good they are. Like, there's good in everyone, And I just feel like, like people don't realize like you could have killed someone.
Yeah. That
person might, like, you don't know if that person would be alive. And then don't say you want to hear their story, because it's not a story. It's something that they're impactfully going through. I think people's situations are downplayed so much, and you don't get to hear from the source of the person. And I think that's this disconnect, the disconnects it's so unfortunate that the impact that it has. And our son is so wise. He's smarter than us both. And I think that that's the most amazing blessing that I've gotten to watch. Like, I'm doing a good job of my children. I'm doing such an amazing job. He saved our marriage before just by sitting there talking to us being attentive about, hey, this is what we need to see. Do you guys love each other? Like, we've had discussions as a family, and if it wasn't for our son, we probably wouldn't even be married right now. Mm-hmm. But because we love our children, because we care about our kids, the impact, what they want to see. I don't want my sons to grow up watch, oh, mommy and daddy hate each other. Everybody hates each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wanted to break the mold on that. And it's doable and it's okay. Because when I do it, everything you've ever said bad will be the past. You can try to pull me there. You can drag me back. But the person that I am today, I guarantee you're going to miss out on. I guarantee you're going to wish you would have. It's like a lottery ticket you lost. Because that's what God does. Restoration, right? On his own time, when you trust him, when you give it to God, he will transform it. He'll turn it around. And I really believe that God will bring people into your life to help you. Like, you guys are helping us more than you know. Like, you're helping me feed my kids. I get to go home and buy my kids something to eat after this. I get to have more emotion so I can do more. So the love that I have for God is so profound, and we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to fall short, but this is what he wants to see. He wants to see our hearts, Yeah. We cannot become better people if our hearts are stone. We have to turn, our hearts need to be like God's heart. We watch Pastor Gino Jennings on YouTube, and I recommend him to everyone, because even the churches, everyone is lost right now. And the best thing you could do is get close to God, but just in a way where your heart is becoming like his. That's the only way out of this. Like, there's no other way out. It doesn't matter what's going on in this world. Our hearts need to change and be more like God's heart. We can't bottle our hearts up and turn them into stone and expect us to live a better life. And we can't be caught up on what people have done to us, because at the end of the day, like I said, like, God can restore, and he can restore. Like, why aren't we focusing on that? Why aren't we taking the time to manifest better? It's so sad to be misunderstood. And I have people that love me to death at school, and they're like, wow, you're amazing, you're great. And I'm like, I am? I am this great? Wow, people actually can see me now. So it's just it's just been great. My son couldn't go to high school because he had girls chasing after him and trying to have sex with him in the hallway, and the new age era of everything he's gone through. And I had to homeschool him because guys want to shoot him. And I don't know if you want to talk about some of that, but
well, in freshman year, last year, early last year, I had a few people that tried to kind of shoot me because
with the gun.
Yes, San Francisco.
Yeah. And I don't really know why, the true meaning why, but what I thought it was because I was talking to a girl that they all liked, but it's a weird situation.
Wait,
she didn't like them
in high school.
Yeah,
and pew pew.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's because I don't know if you guys heard of a chosen person, the chosen ones. There's certain people on this earth that are chosen and sweet and loving and kind, and it really can irritate people's demons.
So they're willing to basically
because she don't
kill
like
you.
them. Yeah, it's ego.
Over this girl
that don't even care.
Lives
that don't even care about them.
Yeah.
For this girl.
That doesn't even care.
Oh my goodness.
About him or them, right? And he can see that. He can see that, right? And he's like, I don't want this girl, she's like, you're the worst guy I ever had. But it's is he? You couldn't really rise to meet his spirit. So it's my son is very unique and rare in this world, and we just don't fit in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fitting in is just not going to happen. We stand out, and we're just not like other people. And I think it's because when you have a love for God and you've been through so much, it really does change the trajectory of how you see things, how you act. And yeah, it was really scary for me as a mom because like I had to research how to homeschool him myself. I had to do all the work to get him where he's at right now, and it was so scary.
Yeah.
Like, you know, even the high school in Pittsburgh, they have guns on campus. Like, I'm not gonna let my kids.
The police or like
The police, yeah. They
all
was,
of
like,
them.
patrolling
The kids
hallways.
too.
the kids too?
Mm-hmm.
That's allowed?
I guess so. And then they downplay things, right? Like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, there's fights, you know? Because I asked them, I said, hey, I just came from a situation like this from another school. Do you guys have, you know, a gun problem? Do you guys have the same problems that we experience? I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't lie to parents, you know. I'm not gonna lie, like, they do have fights, there's fights. So it was acknowledged, it was tolerated, you know. And then we come from like Marin County where like you even poke somebody, you're getting like, you know, expelled immediately because this is an echelon elite school and there's Caucasians here. How dare you even think of hurting us? We're better, so our rules are more implemented. We have more safety structures. But in the hood over here, you know, it's like, oh, meh, I'm in my office, I'm getting a check.
Yeah.
These darn kids, we don't care about these kids, I'm here to work.
Well, how'd you feel when you saw the gun and these kids were like threatening you?
I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it was the weirdest experience in my life. I'm not gonna lie, because it was just I've never had people try to harm me in that way when I wasn't really doing nothing to them. I never really talked to them as much as I said I did, because like I had my own friend group. They was in a whole different area. I didn't really involve myself with like the more problematic kids because I just can't afford to. I gotta keep my focus on my schooling and all that. And I think they just brought it out of proportion because like they didn't have to bring guns into it. I wasn't willing to do any of that. They told me to stay away from the girl they wanted. I would have done it. It's not that serious.
Right.
I don't know. It was a weird situation.
It's like, how can I say this? Muhammad said it the best. One of his predecessors in a meeting once, he said, when people see a light in you and they can't emulate it or take it, they want it out. They want to take you out for that. Mm-hmm. You know, just like Malcolm X, right? You could shine so bright sometimes and people will do anything to dim it as long as they don't see it no more because they can't have it for themselves.
Yeah.
And
there's a limit though, like come on.
Yeah.
Don't get too crazy.
Because it's
with
like
stuff.
if I put him down, I ain't gotta see how great he is no more. Now he's not so great. And that's what it was about. It was about how can I make sure he's not great?
Right.
How can I rise above this situation that's above me in my eyes? I don't feel worthy. I don't deem worthy. And that's why I believe, like, again, God is the only worth that we can feel. He's the only one that can fill that void of worthiness. Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful for everything we went through, all the things that people said that was negative about me, because it taught me, like, I don't need to seek validation from them. I don't need their worthiness to define who I am in God's eyes. And I just wish everybody would see each other the way God sees us. You know, if you could find a way to see how God sees you, you could see others that way too. You know, genuinely see them that way.
You know, God doesn't only like you. I mean, love you. He likes you. You know, there's difference.
Yeah, exactly.
To that.
Yeah.
What is I would say, the hardest thing you've faced, either professionally or personally?
Professionally, I would say just even trying to create a structure of steady work. Mm-hmm. And like, I think the hardest thing for me professionally has been being misunderstood and not being able to be in a field that like I can create myself, where I don't have to succumb to someone else's expectations of me to earn money or to even show my talent. Not being able to have a platform or a space to create due to our demographics and stuff like that. So I think not being able to freely create and be seen in a way where it's valued and you can actually implement and help others. Not having a space where others can, like, not being seen enough. You know, I want to say, I think going unseen has been one of the hardest things I want to say for me.
What about you?
I mean, professionally, probably just the hardships of being in Marin and them condemning me for my work and all that in school, and them just being extra hard on me for no reason because they felt like they could. I don't know, but I think that has to be probably the hardest part of my journey in school because I felt as if I had to overcompensate to like be better and stuff, and it was just like very rushed, my work that I had to do out there, so that's probably like my hardest time professionally. And then personally, it's probably the shooting.
Yeah, that's you came close to death there, buddy.
Yeah, your whole high school career is over because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it was crazy because we saw when they were about to do it, and the only reason why they stopped was because I was right there. I was sitting in my car. I was in Target across the street, minding my business. I see my baby coming down, and he's so excited. He happy. He's like, you know. And then I see these two dudes right in front of me. They've been standing in front of me, talking like just evil spirited. Just there's something in them, and you could feel the energy. But I didn't know who they were. But I'm like, dang, they really got some hoodlums over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow. Like, and then I see them glance at him. He has such a light at the moment. He's like, Mom, hi, Dad. And they're just like, that's him. And then I got out the car. I started walking across the street. And then that's when, you know what I'm saying? They want to tuck it away. And it's just like, imagine that. Imagine if I didn't see his light and, you know, we didn't have that hi, you know, he would have got shot right there. And he knew they were about to, so he went the other way. They waiting on him in the cuts, like, to do it out in front of school so they can run down the street. So the impact for me was crazy because I know, because I'm looking back right now on the situation. I can see everything of, like, what was taking place. But in the moment, none of that extra stuff, you don't know. Like, I don't recall the street or the corner or the doors being open in the school or the kids walking. Somebody else could have got hit. Everybody's coming out. You know, like when the bell rings, everybody's just rushed out. Yeah. They're all like sardining it out. It was kind of like that, but he was in a space by himself because he don't talk to nobody. So it was just like, it was God. The light of God overcame the darkness in that situation. And that's why I'll never trust man over God ever again after that situation. Yeah. Like now we know we're covered. You know what I mean? Now we know. And then Pastor Brown, my grandfather, he's the NAACP participant and owner, and he advocates for black rights. And he came down to the school and he was like, "You're not going to shoot him, and this got to stop." And we had like a meeting about it, and he tried to change it, but you know, there's other kids that's being shot right now for the same exact things in the Mission District, and they all have talent. They're getting cut short because the enemy doesn't want to see them thrive. So that could have been my son, and that could have been him again over here. We just moved over here in Pittsburgh only not even that long ago, you know, and he protected himself. He's like, "All right, out of here. It's the same kind of wave. I can't be in here." Like they weird, they move. You start to see where you're safe and where you're not. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm coming right now. I refuse to allow anyone to kill my son. You know, it won't happen. Yeah. It's happened too many times in our lineage. It's happened to his uncles. One of my uncles died over a leather jacket. Walking down the street, happy and proud. He worked hard, owned it, and beautiful jacket. Hey, give me your jacket. Stabbed him to death over a jacket that he worked hard for. So, you know, sometimes the enemy just, when he sees something good, there's like bad, you know, he tries to turn it into like something bad. So the curses that we're breaking right now, it's just been amazing, and I just wish we could show other people how to do it, what it looks like, you know. That's why I'm happy to be here. So we can help others, you know. You don't have to stay in the schools if your kids is being harmed. You pull them out, you do the work, you know, you homeschool your kids, get them out of there. You know, don't allow anyone to just kill them because
It'll be hard work, but it'll
yeah.
get the results.
It's not
even better results.
It's really not that hard if you're determined.
Right.
It's not. Like this kid here, he works so hard that I don't even have to talk to his teachers.
Yeah.
I never talk to them unless it's like a once a year thing. Cause he knows what it takes. He knows what he needs to do to be great. And I've instilled it early. Even when he was a baby, I never talked to him like he was a little baby. I always gave him a chance to just show me what he's capable of. And I've always spoken life over him and his brothers, and it makes a difference. I've watched my husband get destroyed and annihilated emotionally, financially. They left him for dead, put life insurance policies out on his head, all kinds of negative, demonic things. The enemy will use people sometimes. And just to see the shifts where his life is opposed to where his life will be, you have to have loving parents. You have to, you know what I mean? Like it's so funny how a parent can hate their own children sometimes and not even know it and don't want to do the work and just run and hide. But you just destroyed somebody's life and they have to pick up the pieces, and they're already in a space in their life where it's not really the time. They have other people dependent on them. So it's just, it can get pretty tough. But if you love your children, right, like I believe that you'll do whatever it takes, you know. We can be so tired sometimes and burnt out, laryngitis, sick. You know, sometimes I get viruses just because I'm tired and like my immune system's like, you know what, it'll just tell me, you're done. Like, you know, it's hard to keep up the house. We move every year because like we don't have housekeepers. I don't have help from no one. I'm raising 8 kids and they're all boys too. So sometimes I used to get frustrated when they were younger, like, why I don't have help, or why God don't like let nobody love my kids, or you know, I used to just question all that stuff. But now it's like the calling is higher, so I'm grateful for the calling. You know, no matter what cameras we're in front of, no matter where we're gonna be, I know who we are, and who we are in God's eyes will always be better than what people can see.
Any final thoughts, famous last words for you guys?
I would say, despite of anything that you go through in life, despite of anybody trying to destroy, annihilate your character, reputation, or your life and whatnot, the one that has the final say at the end of everything is God himself. It doesn't matter if it's your mom, it doesn't matter if it's your dad, it doesn't matter if it's your husband, it doesn't matter if it's your wife, it doesn't matter if it's anybody. God has the final say over what he's going to do with you, despite any season or circumstance that you've gone through, because he is the author and the story writer of your life. He's the one who made you. He's the one you're going to meet. And it's really just a matter of consistency and discipline with yourself every day, because nobody in this life is going to play life out for you but yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to come to the rescue for you. It doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
You still have to open your 2 eyes, get on your 2 feet, and push yourself through the day, because that's what it's going to take. Consistency, integrity, discipline, and a whole lot more. Despite how hard it is and whatnot, if there's things that you don't want to do them. That's the key ingredient. You do it because you don't want to.
Right.
Like it could be, for example, cleaning out, you know, a house. You don't want to do it. You rather just chill, do whatever else it is, but you get yourself, it's like you got to flip your brain, callous your mind to where it's like you're doing it because you don't want to. That's how discipline gets built. You know, you have to have conversations with yourself. You know, if that's what it takes, to really have a conversation with yourself in the mirror, to where it's like you're playing yourself in your head by telling yourself you're at where you're at right now and you're happy with that. You're not. You're lying to yourself. You're not happy where you're at. You're lazy, you're unmotivated and whatnot. It's like you have to get, these are examples of yourself getting to the white bone of the meat, like the core truth. Because what will happen is when you tell yourself a little, you know, half truth or whatever it is to, you know, put a Band-Aid and just pat yourself like, it's okay, you're just not there yet and whatnot, you're not going to get there. because it's going to take a whole lot more than just telling yourself, oh, you know, you just, you can have a few beers here and there and whatnot. You just got out of the gym and whatnot. It's okay to treat yourself. Like, no, leave the bottle alone. Leave the drink alone. Leave whatever it is you're touching alone. Stay focused. Stay motivated. Stay fitted. Stay disciplined. Stay focused. Touch books. Touch topics to read. Touch things that involve other people who are still pushing themselves every day and whatnot. Like this one person who really speaks out a lot about discipline and consistency is David Goggins. That's someone I consider like a mentor in a way, because he dealt with his own trauma and abuse and whatnot. But the point being is, the message is, it's going to take consistency and discipline every day, regardless of what it is that you're doing in your life. If you want to get somewhere, something in you has to snap to where it's like, you know, this is my life, regardless of my parents not doing this for me or that or whoever and whatnot. I'm responsible for my own life. I'm a grown adult now. They're not coming. Nobody's coming. I have to live my life. You know, I have a marriage that, you know, depends on a lot of things. I have children that are looking up, people that I'm responsible for, people that I love and take care of, and will go to the depths of the earth to protect, to provide for, to look out for, and to love and to take care of. And that's just what it comes down to. And a lot of people really get mentally defeated by those type of voices to where it's like, you're in your 40s, you're not getting your career, you're not doing this, it's too late, you're too old, you're too this, you're too that. And the only reason why that happens is because they allow themselves to stay with that attitude and to stay there in that mindset. It's a state of mind. You know, you could be surprised with what you could do with your mind. It's really that simple.
You want to say something? Like, he has so many amazing posts that he has. I'm like, please say something. Say something. Like Corey Kenshin, you know. Corey Kenshin, yeah, is his mentor.
I'd say just be yourself. Don't let nobody tell you anything that you can't do and stuff. And yeah, only you can be your only you can be your best self. So just keep pushing and don't give up, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I love how much your mother loves you. You are so blessed. You have no idea how much support and love your mom has for you. And it's a blessing.
Thank you.
Right? You don't know it right now. Yeah. Later on, you'll be like, that girl knew what she was talking about. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to them, and we'll see you next time.
You need to do your turn.
My Instagram is Mr. Black. That's spelled MRBLACKK _ diamond 47.
Mine is Dina Loves God. So yeah.
You can find me on Twitch at YourBoySean, and that's pretty much it.
B-O-Y. I'm him.
I'm him.
Timothy.
Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.